Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Fissette. On this episode, we get to meet Spencer Krug. Spencer is probably best known as one of the singers and songwriters of indie rock stalwarts Wolf Parade. But he's also had a long, fruitful, and varied solo career and has been involved in many bands, including Sunset Rubdown, Moonface, and more. In this chat, Spencer and I talk a bit about all of that, including Wolf Parade and what they were up to over the past few years. But we also talk quite a bit about his brand new solo record, Fading Graffiti, which happens to be the first record he's ever put out under his own given birth name. We talk about what it was like transitioning the songs on this new record from their original ornate solo piano versions into their more full band rock versions. We talk a bit about the beginnings of his career and what it's like to look back over that, as well as what it's been like over the past year during the pandemic, especially given that he became a new father right at the beginning of it. So please enjoy, and thank you for listening. This is me meeting Spencer Krug.
I'm good. I'm a little bit fatigued today. I got home yesterday from doing some recording some live sessions out on Gabriel Island, which is an island that is about an hour away from me. Doing some sessions for KEXP. They're doing these home sessions.
Right.
Hopefully we're like one of the last acts that needs to do it that way. Hopefully this is the tail end of that kind of thing. They can start doing their live studio sessions again.
I know, I hope so. I have seen a few of them. Some of them have been great, but yeah, I'm sure you all miss going in there.
Yeah,
just being around people.
Yeah, of course. Doing it this way was actually like because you record the song and then send it to them, the pressure of being live is not there.
True.
So in a lot of ways, in that way at least, it was easier. But I mean, it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
I'm more just for their sake. I hope that they can get back to normal. And not have to. And that I've been in that studio before. It's an amazing space, and it's a shame that it's just sitting there not getting used.
Right. Yeah, I know. I'm glad they found a way to kind of keep it going. Them and the Tiny Desk people too. It's nice that they've sort of adapted, but yeah, I also can't wait for things to go back a little bit to how they were.
Mm-hmm.
Were these sessions you, or were they Wolf Parade sessions?
No, they were me.
For the new solo record?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a few of those songs.
Okay.
But I have this terrible habit of like constantly reinventing and reworking stuff. So we didn't play the songs as they sound on the record. I played them with the same guitarist and drummer that are on the record, but the bass player and the lap steel player are both American, so they couldn't make it over the border for obvious reasons.
Sure. Yeah.
So we reworked the instrumentation so that I'm on the record. I'm just playing acoustic guitar the whole time, because that was something I wanted to try. But for these sessions, I switched back over to like Rhodes, like electric pianos, to add a kind of low end element.
Mm-hmm.
And then that sort of one thing leads to another, and I end up putting like a synthesizer on top of the piano, and then we're reworking the songs for a third time, which is really fun, but also like kind of unnecessarily time consuming, maybe. But
a tinkerer, it's fine.
I'm a tinkerer, at heart.
Yeah.
And those guys were totally good sports about it. Eli and Jordan. Yeah.
So are you in Vancouver right now?
I'm on Vancouver Island.
Okay.
And where are you?
I'm in Connecticut, so that's why it's 9:21 here.
Right. Sorry about that.
Oh no, it's fine. It's Memorial Day tomorrow here, so I have off tomorrow. from work. So
Right.
I'm good with
That's
being
right.
up. Don't worry.
Tomorrow is not a holiday in Canada.
Yeah, I assumed.
We have veterans. We just remember them on a different day.
Sure. Well, the whole world doesn't have to remember it on the same day.
Is that even what Memorial Day is? Is it for veterans?
My God, I should know a better answer to this. Yes, I think it's specifically for fallen veterans.
Yeah. Okay. That
Right.
makes sense.
And then like Veterans Day is like all of them, I think.
We should stop this line of conversation right now. Move back. I asked where you were because you asked where I was, and
Right.
not most, but many Americans, no, let's say most Americans don't know that Vancouver is not on Vancouver Island, because it makes sense that it would be, right? Or when they hear that a Vancouver Island exists, they go, oh, well, that's most likely where Vancouver is.
Right.
But Canadians didn't have a lot of imagination when we were naming things out west, renaming things.
Right. I mean, we didn't have a lot of imagination here. Most of New England is named after towns in England. So,
right.
So it's kind of, we didn't really branch out too much here either.
We did that with the same. We named things after an explorer.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I did know they were two different places. However, I couldn't tell you where each of them is.
They're right beside each other.
Okay. Well, of course they
just
are.
over the water.
Of course they are.
Take a ferry from Vancouver to Vancouver Island. It takes about an hour and a half.
You're actually like my second, shockingly, maybe not shockingly, but my second person for the show who's at least there or from there. I was talking to Sarah Neufeld a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Who told me she was from there. So yeah, I mean, I was aware of it, but not as much as you say, most Americans probably don't know. So yeah, I'm kind of lumped in with that. It's fine. So okay, so yeah, so you're on far west Canada.
Yes, in the kind of the rural countryside, about an hour north of Victoria, which is this island's biggest city.
Okay. So how has, especially this current year, how have the past few months for you been around there and for you personally?
The past few months have been quite a lot like the few months before those ones and the few months before that.
So has it not felt like anything has really been shifting?
Do you mean in so much as like since the record has come out? Or do you mean like
I mean mostly
pandemic?
Mostly pandemic related.
Yeah. The pandemic for me, of course, everything changed in the same way that it changed for everyone else. It's just that the timing weirdly worked out for me, I guess, is the best way to put it. I don't want to make it sound like I think pandemic was like a fortunate thing.
Right.
But my son was born on April 8th of 2020, which is kind of right after things ramped up, right?
Yeah.
So after the stress of like a home birth, because hospitals were so fucked up, that the me even being at the delivery was up in the air, and just the hospitals were such an uncomfortable place to be anyway. My wife and I decided, well, she decided, it's totally her call, to go for a home birth. Lucky for me, because then I got to be there. Once that stress was over and he came out, happy and healthy, we settled into a lifestyle that was kind of ideal for having an infant, which is to just be home all the time, like the two of us home all the time with him, which is mostly what I would have wanted to be doing anyway for the first year of his life. I would have, if I had been touring, I would have been doing it begrudgingly,
right?
Just because I had to, kind of thing, because I would have wanted to be home with him for at least the first year of his life. as much as I could have been, and I got to do that.
Yeah.
Actually, this session out on Gabriel Island that I just told you about, I was there for like 3 days. It's the longest I've ever been away from them. So in that way, weirdly, I'm very fortunate that happened to me as a first-time parent. And things like for the same as everyone else, things have been just very like the same and stagnant. Other than like watching him change and grow daily, our lifestyle is like very routine. I work out of a studio that I built in the backyard. Okay, let me rephrase that. To say that I built the studio makes me sound like more of a lumberjack than I really am.
Big carpenter.
I paid a friend to put walls on the inside of a woodshed that already was in the backyard, and then moved my instruments inside of it. That's what I did, and it worked out great because now I can work from home, obviously, and I make a lot of music back here. I just tinker around back here, like I'm already an old man. I'm just I'm like an old hobby farmer in his greenhouse or something.
Yeah,
come back here,
but your hobby's making music.
Yeah, and then I have the great fortune and privilege of being able to post that music online and have it help me pay rent.
Sure.
Which is, very lucky. And that whole structure through Patreon and the internet, I weirdly had already set up in 2019, just because it's something I wanted to try. So by the time the pandemic hit, that was like the whole structure for me to be able to work from home was already built and in place. So in that way, I was like really fortunate too.
Yeah, that's just like a very nice chain of events to lead up to something that could have been a lot worse for you.
Right. I feel, actually, now that I'm describing it all, I feel terrible. Like I feel guilty. It hasn't been that bad. It's, of course we've been craving parties and friends and restaurants, and I wish my son could spend more time with other babies. Like the same things that everyone else is feeling, we're feeling them, but we never panicked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, I get the guilt. I mean, it's been a terrible net, a net result has been pretty bad for the world, obviously, but individually, I mean, not everyone got COVID. I didn't even personally, honestly, know anyone who got COVID. Like my circle, we were all good, which I'm very, very grateful for. So, it didn't hit everyone the same. So I think I don't know. We search for silver linings sometimes, and I think it's okay, to find them.
Yeah, it's fine. It's the same as me. I know maybe a couple people that got COVID, and they're fine. We should stop talking about how we don't know people with COVID, because we're just giving fodder to the anti-vaxxers and the conspiracy theorists.
It's real.
It's real. For the record,
I'll just say it here. It's real, everyone. Don't think we think it's not real.
Did you get vaccinated?
I did. I'm a high school English teacher, so I was able to get in a little earlier than I probably could have.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I was happy about that. It was still later than I wanted, of course, but Connecticut was pretty good with our schedule, so I was able to get in there a little earlier than my age group was.
Yeah, so you Americans, nice. you kind of won the vaccine battle.
Yeah,
you rolled that out real quick.
I know we did, and I talk about guilt. I mean, I'm grateful for it, but I do feel for everyone else who largely does not have the same experience happening in their countries, including Canada.
We're coming around now, but it was kind of funny that, and weirdly typical, that it seemed like from what I saw online and on news and stuff, America was the place where there were so many people like, whatever, like everything's fine, let's go party, like spring break cannot be canceled, we must party in Florida. we must go to church, blah, blah, blah. And Trump, of all people, being like, the vaccine's coming, don't worry about it.
Right.
And then he's weirdly right.
Yeah, right.
As soon as the vaccine happened, you guys just like bought a bunch of it and stuck
Oh,
it in
yeah.
everyone's arm. And now.
Yeah. I mean, I won't even feign to act like I understand how this all works and how like vaccine rollout works and who bought what and who's not able to buy what. But it did seem awfully quick and awfully bountiful, our amount of this vaccine.
Right.
And I'm just like, I keep hearing about other countries where they're like, oh yeah, we don't have like any vaccines yet.
Right.
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like that's real. And we are very fortunate here. And I know there are some other countries, and yeah, you said Canada's kind of coming around. I know you guys have started at least working your way down the age groups.
Yeah,
But it's slower, right?
it's slower, but I mean, I've been vaccinated, and
Okay, that's good.
my wife actually got vaccinated today.
Oh, her second shot, or do you guys only do a one shot?
No, we're each doing two. I got my first and she got her first.
Okay.
She's just younger than I am.
Gotcha.
Not by a disturbing amount of years. Just
Hey, I didn't say anything.
She's slightly younger than I am, so she had to wait slightly longer.
Yeah, those arbitrary lines. Yeah.
Yes, but I think things are all of a sudden feeling a little more normal. That's or good. like normal is on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean,
some
even
provinces
here,
are doing better than others.
Even here, it feels that way. I mean, I should know better than I do, but I think we just dropped most, if not all, mask mandates. Like if you're vaccinated, which of course every idiot is going to say he's vaccinated even if he's not, so we could not wear a mask, but that's another story. So I know we're doing well, but even here it still feels like, it's still coming. It doesn't really feel like it's fully here yet.
Yeah,
it's iffy, it's like nerve-wracking, to sort of act as if it is back to normal. Even if someone is telling me it is, I'm kind of like, I'm not sure it is.
Right.
It's habitual at this point too.
I was thinking about that today, though, about, the radio is talking about, like, will we be able to readjust back to the new normal? That expression people like. And I mean, think about how fast we adjusted to life with COVID. It was
That's true.
Eerily quick that people were like, oh, okay, I have to stay 6 feet away from all my friends, and I don't hug people anymore, and we don't go to parties, and we wear masks at the grocery store. It all became so normal in my mind, like crazy quick.
Yeah.
That we'll be able to fall back into old routines like it was nothing.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna, it will all seem like a weird dream. Really, all of a sudden, when as soon as all restrictions are lifted, I think we're gonna strangely fall back into old habits and patterns easier than we think.
Yeah, I mean, some people talk about how, like, even when we're quote unquote back to normal, it'll be, like you say, a new normal. Like it'll never be like it used to be. It'll be a different version of what it used to be. And
yeah, I think it's bullshit.
And I think that's a little overblown. I think maybe we got to add a vaccine to our yearly vaccines. Probably that's probably true. But otherwise, I think things will generally be normal.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, yeah, like you said, we miss our friends, we miss people, we even introverts miss people. I mean, we want that connection back. So I think it is coming, and I'm glad that you guys are kind of hopefully rounding a corner.
Yeah, and then hopefully those countries we're talking about that don't have enough of the vaccine will get it. I think a lot of that is due to countries like yours and mine, like hoarding. Well, maybe not America. I can't speak for America. I know that Canada bought like way more than was necessary.
Oh, we probably did too.
Like more than our population. Like literally more than
like
we
just
need.
in case we get a few stragglers.
Yeah. It's just this very strange kind of panic move.
Yeah, I feel like we probably did something similar. And for whatever it's worth, the countries with more money seem to be doing better with it. It just is what it is, and
Well,
it's unfortunate, but
there's
yeah,
no surprise there, right?
no, there isn't. Anyway, um,
Yeah, sorry. I hardly
I
ever talk
forget.
about COVID because
Yeah,
it's such
well,
a boring conversation.
I
We've been
know.
doing it for 15 minutes.
It's fine. I forget what we were talking about, but that's fine. Um, so you did mention, or I did mention too, the new record you put out recently, Fading Graffiti. Was that recorded in your home studio?
No,
Okay.
it was recorded in the same studio that I was just in.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's serendipitous
yeah,
in
well,
a
we
way.
thought it would be fun to go back and represent the record in the place where it was made.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Noise Floor. It's on Gabriel Island, and it's run by Terry and Jordan, two friends of mine, two great people. Jordan is actually, he's like the head engineer there. Well, he's the only engineer. He runs the studio, Jordan Coop, and he ended up being the guitarist on Fading Graffiti, but only after the fact. Neither he nor I nor anyone knew that that was going to happen when we were recording the bed tracks.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of neat. When I recorded it, it was just me on acoustic guitar and my friend Eli on drums and Adrienne on bass. And what we did was the three of us in a studio that's closer to me, just down the road. My friend Dante's studio, Dante from Wolf Parade, he lives just like 15 minutes away. He has a studio in his backyard that's like bigger than my backyard studio. So we used that place to rehearse, the three of us. And what we did was rework, reimagine, rearrange all these piano songs that I posted onto Patreon throughout 2019, and rework them into rock and roll songs, for lack of a better genre. And we knew that something else was going to be added down the line, but I didn't know what that was. And neither did anyone, but we just went and recorded it as a 3-piece, just guitar, drums, bass. And it sounded pretty cool on its own, which made the decision as to like what kind of instrument to add to fill it out even harder. I oscillated between for a while I wanted to put violin on the record, but Adrienne and Eli were like, no, it doesn't need violin. And I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. And they're like, you should put synths on it. And I was like, I don't want to play keyboards on this record because I always play keyboards. I want to do something new. And, just another record with synths just felt like, I don't know. And then we had finished and I was on tour with Wolf Parade. And Jordan, who's the engineer, started sending me the tracks with him playing electric guitar on top. Just like out of the blue. It was just sort of like, because he knew that I wanted to add probably electric guitar, but I hadn't decided on who should do that because, I only know so many musicians around me on this island at this point. And he just started sending me, he's like, if I was to play guitar on this track, this is what I would do. And at first I was like, no, I don't get it. I couldn't understand. It's really funny. I was like, no, he doesn't get this song. He doesn't totally know where I'm coming from. It sounds cool, but it's not what I want. And then I realized that his playing, his licks were stuck in my head. Even just later that day, I had to listen to it again. I remember it was in the tour van. I was sitting in the back of the van listening to his take over and over again, and it just grew on me almost immediately, to the point that within a few days I couldn't imagine the song without any other player on it. So I remember writing him an email being like, what are your intentions with
what are
writing
your
me
intentions with my album?
yeah, like, why are you sending me these tracks? Do you want to be the guitar player on the record? If we go on tour, can you come on tour? Like this whole thing. Do you want to join the band? And he was like, yeah. So that's how he ended up on the record. He plays on every song, and his guitar playing is like a huge element of the whole record, right? A huge part of the sound that really has nothing to do with me. It wasn't even my idea. It was his idea.
Yeah, he just kind of like hoped that you like kind of caught on to his wavelength of like, I think I kind of want to play, but
yeah,
which is
yeah,
good.
and it's not the
it's nice when it
style
works
that
out.
Oh yeah, like if I had played synth over top of those songs, for example, there's no way that the notes or the style of what I would have chosen would be anything close to what he did. But that's the beauty of collaboration, right? And just letting other people be themselves. I eventually ended up back in the studio with him, and we kind of like together, him and I produced his part for the record and recorded all the good copy stuff, and that was really fun. It's totally all him. And then my other friend Nick Mers, who currently lives in California, he's really into lap steel.
Yeah, I was going to mention the lap steel on the record. It's so beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Well, on behalf of Nick, thanks. His playing on the record originated from conversations that him and I had when we were on tour with Wolf Parade, because he was working for Wolf Parade on our very last tour, driving us around and helping us move stuff around and helping Dan with his guitars. And he's a super talented guitarist and steel player. And he told me a couple times about how he felt that the instrument was more beautiful than the stigma of country music that was so attached to it. And that one of the things he wanted to do with his playing was bring the instrument out of the world of country, which I thought was really cool. So I was like, why don't you play on a couple songs? And he ended up playing on like 8 out of 10 of them or something. So now there's lap steel all over the record, which I think is really beautiful too. I get that it does make it sound more country just because that is so attached to that instrument.
Yeah, I think it's just an associative thing. I don't even think it's necessary. Like these don't sound like country songs.
Right. In no other way are they country songs.
Yeah.
But the country is so like pounded into the sound of that instrument.
I know. I can hardly think of another instrument that has that much of an association tied to it. But you're right.
It's an old man on a porch with a banjo. That's what it is.
Or like saloon doors swinging closed. But yeah, these don't sound like country songs, and it's a nice addition to the songs that it's in, and it doesn't turn them into country songs, So he's right. He recontextualized it.
Well, I'm sure he'll be very glad to hear you say that. And it's nice for me to hear that it doesn't. I mean, I got nothing against country music.
Sure, yeah. But that's not what you intended to make either.
Yeah.
You did mention these used to be piano songs. Why did you end up wanting to re-record them as more full band rock songs?
I don't know. It's just an idea that occurred to me one day when I was driving. That the idea, I guess, originated out of a desire to make the songs more accessible, probably. I knew that I had put these songs on this platform called Patreon, which I love, and it's like great for me.
It's like a godsend, honestly.
Thanks. Or like, I don't know if you're saying that to me or to Patreon.
Well, no, I just mean because Patreon, like I know so many people like yourself have been using it for a year or more, or especially in this past year, and it seems to have been quite a boon to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's helpful, absolutely, for sure. And sorry, what was I saying? Oh,
the idea.
yeah, so I put a bunch of piano songs onto Patreon, which I liked in and of themselves, and which the people that followed me on Patreon liked. But I knew that probably after a year or two had passed, I would want to share them with others. But to simply then just take the same songs and copy paste them onto a piece of vinyl, it seemed like, one, just like kind of too easy, but two, I felt that the songs were a little bit fussy and like maybe too more complicated than they need to be, which is like something that happens to my music when I write on piano.
Mm.
Um, Not in necessarily a negative way, even though I'm making it sound negative. It's just the way that I write music on piano, because I'm so like fucking trigger happy. Basically, I just like want to move my fingers as fast as possible. And some people really love that, and I really love it. But I thought maybe there's another way to present these songs to the whole world that makes them a little more accessible, I guess, for lack of a better word, or like it makes it sound like I think the piano versions are no good. And
No, I don't think it does.
hmm,
It's just, I think, when I honestly, truly, I haven't, I don't think I've heard the piano versions of these songs, but I was a big fan of the Moonface record, the Julia with Blue Jeans on record, which is all piano.
right.
Um, and I get what you mean when you say fussy, and it sounds like a negative word, but I know that's not how you're meaning it, because your arrangements, they tend to be kind of long and kind of like you luxuriate in these series of notes that, as you say, you get trigger happy. You just kind of like to play them.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean they're bad. I think it's just sort of a very different vibe, a different aesthetic.
Yeah, I think I just maybe like intricate is a better word, and I wanted to
Yeah,
make
that's a
something
good word.
less intricate. Um, so I remember specifically just being on the highway one day, being like, "Hey, maybe I should make a guitar record out of those songs because I'm terrible at guitar, um, or at least I'm not talented on guitar. I can play, the chords, and I can move my hand around a little bit, but in no way am I a virtuoso on the instrument. So I knew that translating the songs to that instrument would just automatically simplify them.
Hmm.
And that's what happened. But then they become entirely different beasts when you start adding other players and other people's ideas. And that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
So now every song exists in two entirely different ways, which I think is cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And now you can theoretically, you can even play every song in two different ways, like whichever one you were feeling more like playing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it makes for a more of like a convoluted story for fans to follow
Hmm,
if they're following, but
that's true.
it's not the end of the world.
Was that sort of search for simplicity, or at least simplifying the songs, was that tied at all to your releasing them under your own given name? Because this is your first album under your given name after many years of many names.
Yeah, it's true.
I was just curious what led to that decision.
The decision to simplify them, or the decision to go with my own name.
To go with your own name, yeah.
Yeah,
Or was it mostly arbitrary?
no, it's not arbitrary. I mean, me putting out a record under my own name was going to happen regardless of what the record was. Because
Okay.
I ended Moonface for a number of reasons, and that happened before even the idea for this record existed. I just
Okay.
knew that the next record I was going to make was going to be Spencer Krug and not Moonface.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for all intents and purposes, it's the exact same stuff. It's just me doing whatever happens to come to mind that given year. The reason I wanted to put an end to Moonface, or the reasons I wanted to put an end to Moonface as my solo moniker was, I don't know, one, like the name started to feel really juvenile. Two, when I came up with the name, I didn't realize that the word Moonface is like an actual affliction that people suffer from.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that either.
I think a lot of people don't until you Google Moonface, and you'll get like a bunch of pictures of me and then a bunch of pictures of people with like swollen faces because of drugs that they have to take for some ailment that I can't think of right now. But I was like, well, that's not very cool for those people that I'm like naming my band after, this affliction that they suffer from. And then the third thing you'll find if you Google Moonface is the name of this DJ, or maybe DJ. I don't really know what they do, but it seems like, you know, it's like DJ or like electronic music artist that goes by the name Moonface, and who went by the name Moonface long before I came up with the name. So basically, when I came up with the name, I was really bad at Googling shit and should have just done that first and then been like, well, this is a bad idea for a name. But I didn't, and then I ended up putting out like 5 records under that name or something. But I wanted to change it for a long time. But changing your name, it's always like a bit of a gamble because it confuses people.
Yeah.
And just makes your whole story more complicated.
Although maybe your solo stuff has always been Moonface and now Spencer Krug, but you have been attached to many things with many names, as I said before. So I feel like it's not the most unexpected thing we could have gotten from you is a name change. So I think it's fine.
Thanks. It's true. I mean, it's probably not a big surprise to a lot of people. I would like to think that now, as I approach my mid 40s and I'm releasing music under my given name, there's probably not a huge reason to change it again, at least not my solo stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't, who knows?
Well, I think a lot of people also maybe over the years have assumed that every non-Wolf Parade thing you're in is a Spencer Krug solo project. You know, especially I feel like with like Sunset Rubdown stuff, I feel like a lot of people kind of just lump that in with Spencer Krug solo work, but it's definitely not. It's a whole band. So I do think there is maybe a nice directness to the fact that now a Spencer Krug solo record is just by Spencer Krug.
Right. Except I'll still be working with other people.
Of course, yeah.
So,
but now we know that's the solo stuff. Solo stuff.
Sort of solo. Sometimes solo.
Sometimes solo. Maybe it didn't make anything easier. Maybe I'm just walking in circles now.
You know that guy, Destroyer?
Mm-hmm.
He's a friend of mine. And I remember when I came up with the name, like it's some great idea. When I had the idea for Moonface, I was like, hey, what do you think of this for a name? And he's like, it's fine. It's great. What's wrong with Sunset Rubdown? I was like, well, I don't know. It's a different project now. It's a different band. He's like, maybe you want to consider not changing it and just go with Sunset Rubdown. And at the time, that sounded ridiculous to me because I had, all these people attached to that name, like my bandmates that weren't going to be moving on to this next project with me. So the idea of like moving the name from one to the other seemed like a disservice to the music and to them. And maybe it would have been. But I think Dan's point was, just like keep the name that people know. It's just a name at the end of the day. Like people will catch up with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, I think he was probably right. Like he has done everything under Destroyer since day one.
He's changed his style up a lot. It's true.
So many times. And it's not like people are like, well, that should be a different name.
Yeah. I mean, he could release a rap record and it would still be Destroyer.
Yeah, he's just what he does is Destroyer, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I envy him. I envy that is like a decision that he made early on and kept to it.
It's hard. I mean, I imagine that would be hard because after a certain number of years, I think I personally would want to change your name just for like a change. You know, he's been
Yeah,
Destroyer since the 90s, basically, right? Isn't that when Destroyer started?
yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
mean that's a single is a single word name, but it's always been Dan and other people. So it's kind of been this revolving project that he's just kind of kept the same name for.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he did pick a hell of a name.
True. It is a good name. It
it's
is
a
a good
great
name.
name, and he can just be like, it's still Destroyer. It's always going to be cool to be called Destroyer.
I guess that's true.
Whereas, you know, like I mentioned, Moonface or Sunset Rubdown, I have a tendency to like find things really goofy and funny and be like, that's so funny and goofy, I want to make it official. Ha ha ha. Which, you know, those jokes only, the humor only lasts so long.
I also like the so this is your first solo record, or really any record of yours put out under your own given name, but I love that your record label that you started, I guess, for this project, I'm guessing, is pronounced Krug.
Right.
Have people called you Spencer Krug?
Yeah, my whole life.
I don't know why I never thought that. And I started listening to Wolf Parade long before I ever knew what your name was. So I don't know why I never thought Krug. It just looks like Krug to me.
I think it just depends on like how much time you spent around Krug champagne or like other.
I mean, I was in high school, so I didn't. But yeah, no, I know.
I mean, it's German, right? And that if you're over there, it's the words that are. It's obvious that it's Krug to people, I think, in Europe, but
Mhm.
there's something North Americans are like, yeah, Krug, which to me is like a really silly sounding word, but I've
Yeah.
been called that my whole life, even by like, you know, really enthusiastic fans
Mhm.
will who've been listening to me for like, you know, over a decade will call me Spencer Krug, which would always surprise and slightly disappoint me. So I
That's
thought if I'm starting a label, might as well just set the record straight
for sure.
while I have a chance.
Are you intending to keep the record going for other people too? Like release other records?
Not as of now,
Okay.
but I don't want to. I don't want to say that
Yeah.
that's a hard decision either way. It's just that I wanted to try self-releasing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
what has that been like for you? Because your last Moonface records came out on Jaguar and Wolf Parade Sub Pop, so those are pretty big indie labels.
right,
So what's it like for you releasing on your own?
it's different for sure. It's harder. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more work, um, but it's not unrewarding. I don't necessarily mean financially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, to be frank, financially it has not been rewarding. But that's not the intention. Like that's not
Right.
the main concern right now. I just thought the timing seemed right. Like, and I've put out so many records on labels over the years and never tried to self-release on my own. I have a fairly loyal and amazing fan base. You know, there's not a million people out there or anything, but the people that do follow me are like very kind and very enthusiastic about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that they're going to support me regardless of what label I'm on. And it being the first record under my own name, it just seemed like a good time to try something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I really love the people that I worked with at Jaguar, and I'm still in touch with them and still work with them in some ways,
Mm-hmm.
and Sub Pop as well. It just we it didn't make sense for me to be on Jaguar anymore. And now I have this thing set up, this infrastructure is in place where I can put out my own material whenever and however I want.
Yeah, which is freeing in a way, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be great. Hopefully. The idea is great on paper for me. We're going to also try to reissue old material as well. I won't get into like any titles, but there's like a few ideas of different older records that I want to reissue on vinyl through that label. And then, you know, I've always liked to put out a lot of music faster than labels really want me to. So I'll probably put out a record a year or something.
Yeah. Well, that's also a nice part of having your own label is you work on your own schedule.
Right. I'll probably quickly learn why labels don't want me to put out a record every year.
You're like, oh, I'm doing promo again.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm totally broke. I wonder why.
Oh, it's because I put out 3 records in 19 months. I want to talk a little bit anyway, before I let you go, about Wolf Parade. Mostly because, so Wolf Parade obviously took a pretty good sized break between Expo 86 and Cry Cry Cry, but then also you came out with In Mind just last year. That was, if I remember correctly, that was right before the pandemic kind of hit full swing. Did you guys have to like abandon a tour? Were you a band that had to abandon a tour for that?
We did. We had to abandon every show we had planned in Europe.
Did you get did you get to tour it at all?
We did. We toured it throughout North America.
Okay.
And weirdly, we're able to hit both the East Coast and the West Coast and hit a lot of what a booking agent would call major markets. Because of my wife's pregnancy. So again, there's some sort of serendipity happened where we had a longer tour. We made the record, gave it to the label, set a release date, and then my wife and I got pregnant. And after some phone calls and discussions with the band, obviously what happened was that her due date conflicted with like me being on tour for our release tour for the record, which so obviously like kind of two big things, but one ends up taking a clear precedent over the other. So I wasn't gonna be on tour while my first baby was born. So
yeah, I don't blame you.
We reconfigured the entire tour so that we could squeeze in as much of like the quote unquote important stuff as we could before I had to head back home to be with my wife. So that ended up being strangely lucky because the last thing we were going to do before I had to get rushed back home was like 10 or 12 days in Europe to go do like some big cities over there, which we had to cancel. We didn't have to cancel, actually. We decided to cancel because the pandemic was just starting. And when we did cancel, I specifically remember that it hadn't even been dubbed a pandemic yet. Like the WHO declared it a pandemic, I think, a couple days after we canceled the European tour. But everyone knew and caught on that this terrible thing was happening and it was spreading throughout the world and spreading throughout Europe. And we just thought, it seems really irresponsible to go get in a van, like get in an airplane and then get in a van and drive from city to city all over Europe in these crowded rooms and possibly spread this thing around.
And also I don't know if this is what happened to some people, but it feels like you might have even gotten kind of stranded there, possibly.
That was another concern.
Yeah,
for sure. Was like, I don't want to be in quarantine in like Dublin when my wife is going into labor. Like
Yeah.
that would just the idea of it was so heartbreaking. But it wasn't just because of that we canceled the tour by any means. It was like we talked it out, and just like as a rational people, we're like, this is a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we canceled the tour. Some people gave us shit online, and then like within a week, within like even less than a week later, it seemed like it was clearly the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But because we needed to condense the original release tour because of my wife's pregnancy, we were then luckily able to hit most of North America in a meaningful way.
That's good.
Which, again, a weird sort of serendipity.
Yeah. I mean, it's good the record came out in the early months because, you were able to tour it a little bit because I really, did feel for the people who had a record come out like the week of the pandemic, like the
I
week
know.
everything shut down, or, maybe they got to play like one show and then the tour got canceled like that. I mean, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys got to play it a little bit.
And so,
or really a lot, actually.
We're grateful for what we got to do, and I totally
Yeah.
feel for the other artists that didn't have that same luck.
So I mentioned the break between the two records. Did you guys quote unquote break up, or was it always a conscious like we're just gonna take a break? Like, how would you classify that time?
Honestly, I would classify it as neither.
Okay.
Probably closer to the former.
Okay.
Like, but I mean, it's not a thing that we ever said out loud. We never like, well, we broke up. Not even really to each other. It's just, it was very clear that we needed a break.
Mm-hmm.
So we took it. And we just kind of left it at that, because I think one thing about Wolf Parade is that all of the members of Wolf Parade recognize that there's something special there. And, are rational enough people to not want to just throw it away. And I'm glad we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But we also knew at the time that we needed to take a break, not just because of like personality differences or whatever, but just life. Like, people wanted to do other things, and the band was becoming like, it was taking up too much time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before many times, and I really think it's true. Like, if we had made a fourth record at that time, like a year after whenever we took our hiatus, I think it would have been bad. Of course, I can't know that for sure, but you need like a certain amount of camaraderie in the studio to make good music together. And that sense of camaraderie was like failing. It was slipping. And so we had the foresight to not try to force anything and just take a break. That's the way that I remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all spread out like all over the world in a way that made it impossible for us to be a band anyway. And then when we all sort of got back into Canada, just for various reasons, the idea was put on the table to try another record. It didn't even start with that. It was like, let's try to get in a jam room together and see what happens.
Yeah, I kind of remember there was the EP that came out prior to Cry Cry Cry.
Right.
And I kind of remember that being sort of part of the press cycle of that, was like, we just wanted to see what would happen if we did this again, because it's been so long.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And what happened was that EP, for better or for worse. I'm not, in hindsight, I'm not sure we should have shared that EP with the world, but we were like, I think we were excited that we were making music together again, so we did.
Yeah.
And then Cry Cry Cry, I think, is a cool record, and I think Thin Mind is even better. So that's just my opinion.
No, I mean, it sounds like, especially I think Thin Mind sounds like, Wolf Parade now. I think it doesn't sound like Wolf Parade in 2012. You know, like I think it sounded like you guys took a break and kind of reoriented a little bit in a good way.
Okay,
In a good way.
cool. Well, Thin Mind is interesting in that it's the first record that just Dan and Arlen and I made
Oh,
as a
I don't know if I
three-piece.
knew that. Yeah.
Um, we started as a three-piece and very quickly evolved into a four-piece and then a five-piece and then different incarnations of uh, people for a while, and then settled into like me and Dan and Arlen and Dante for like the majority of the band's life.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thin Mind is just me and Dan and Arlen because Dante wanted to pursue other things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And we toyed with the idea of a different fourth member. And then the more we thought about it, we got excited about the idea of exploring what was possible as a trio. And that record is the result of that exploration.
Hmm.
And then the touring we did was as a three-piece too, which was like super fun and challenging and liberating, and like all these different like aspects of being on stage with such a stripped down band came into play in a way that I think was really cool.
Hmm. So it's kind of almost like, I don't want to say like a back to basics thing, but like it is sort of like the original formation of the band, sort of, but so much farther on from when you guys started.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it totally is like back to the basics. That's okay to say.
I just didn't want it to sound like I was like, oh, Wolf Parade went back to square one.
No, and we totally like we're in such musically, and we're all such different people than
Mm-hmm.
when we started, musically and otherwise. So there's no way we're gonna just sound like the beginning again. But
Yeah.
it was nice to strip everything down to like the bare minimum and to write songs with those guys in that way again. Dan and Arlen and I have a way of writing songs really quickly when it's just the three of us,
Mm.
um, in a way that I find really exciting.
Well, you already said you are your fast worker.
Right. And I think they are too. And there's just we don't allow ourselves to overthink anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's an almost unspoken agreement that we have in the studio. I think we speak about it now, but we never released it.
So is Wolf Parade then, the way it seems like I would describe it based off what it seems like is that it seems like it's sort of this perpetual entity, you know, that kind of will come and go or ebbs and flows. Is that how you would describe it for you? Like
I
in
think
your
so.
life? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like Wilbrade has no plans for the immediate future,
Mm-hmm.
like in the next few months, but there are some plans on the horizon. Um, so the band still exists in a functioning way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know if it will last forever or
Right.
what or when our next record will be, but I don't think it's going anywhere. I really can't say, of course, and it's not up to me,
No,
right?
yeah, sure.
Um, but you know, for whatever it's worth, we do have there are some like concrete, definitive plans for the future. That's not entirely up in the air. I just can't get into the details of what
No, of
those things
course.
are.
Yeah.
Like I'm contractually obligated to not tell you what they are.
Hey, that's cool. um you mentioned how you guys are all so different now than you were when you started, both personally and musically. What's your relationship like with your earlier work? I mean, do you ever like God forbid, listen back to your old stuff or think about your old stuff, like super early Wolf Parade stuff? Like what's your relationship like with that kind of that work, that
Do you
part
mean
of your life?
specifically with Wolf Parade or
Or really anything. I
solo?
mean, yeah, I know that you had some non-Wolf Parade stuff around the same era. So yeah, what is it like for you to kind of think about those
Right.
things now?
I guess the answer is the same whether it's Wolf Parade or stuff outside of that band, and which is that I never listen to it. I will only listen to it if I have to, which is
Hmm.
not to say that it's an unpleasant experience, but it would just never occur to me to put on my own music in that way.
Hmm.
Um, and when I do hear it, it sounds like the music of another person.
That
It's
must be
not,
an
it's,
interesting experience.
yeah, it is. It's because it was made so long ago, I do feel that I've changed so much. I mean, we're talking about 20 years ago, so
Yeah.
anyone changes from their mid 20s to their mid 40s. I mean, come on.
Hmm.
It it is a different person that made that music. And it was made so long ago that I can't remember the details of it. So when I hear it back, like Sunset Rubdown, Snake's Got a Leg had some sort of anniversary a few months ago or last year or something, and I participated in a anniversary online chat with some fans, and I intentionally didn't listen to the record beforehand. Um, it's like listening to the music of another person for sure. There's no way I would make that music now, and I couldn't remember the details of what I'd done, and I was such a different person then than I am now that it's surreal because it's like remembering a dream. Maybe that's the best way to describe it.
Mm.
Like, you know, when you have a memory of a dream that, and it's like you didn't, it's not until you remember it that you had any knowledge of that thing happening.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
And then you hear it back, like, oh yeah, I did that. What a weird decision. Not in a bad way. It
Yeah.
can be bad. It can sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I did that. Like, oh, look, ugh, what a weird decision. Or sometimes it's like, oh, that's neat that that person back then wanted to sing that line that way or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not familiar,
Is it
to answer your
weird?
question.
Is it weird when you end up playing some really old songs in your sets?
No, only when I have to like re-immerse myself in them to relearn them.
Right,
But
right.
once I've done that, I've like sort of like reintegrated them into my
Hmm.
person. I've like
Makes sense.
redeveloped the muscle memory to play them and reacquainted myself with the lyrics
Yeah.
in a way that I can emotionally get behind, and you know, I make it my own again, basically.
Yeah, make it the Spencer of whatever today is as opposed to 20 years ago Spencer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is
as you
why
even
you
said earlier, you like to kind of reinvent even newer songs, so it's kind of maybe something that you would do anyway.
yeah, it is a weird habit of mine, but I think I instinctually would only do that, especially with older songs. I would only do that with ones that I some part of me knows that I can get behind. I'm not gonna like take some crazy old B-side out on tour,
Yeah.
um, because you know it's good to leave some things in the past.
But at the same time, I mean, can Wolf Parade even play a show without people wanting you to play like I'll Believe in Anything or something like
Well, that band's a whole other ball of
that?
wax.
Okay, fair enough.
Uh, and to answer your question, like, no, not really.
Yeah.
We can't play a show without. There's a
There's
handful, a
always a few,
very
yeah.
very small handful of songs that we know some people would be disappointed if we
Right.
don't play,
Right.
and that's a whole other ball of wax where you reach a point where you realize that the the, the crowd is, how do I put this? Like, the audience's wants become more important than what you want to do on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, not across the board, but basically you just end up at a place where you're like, well, it's not such a fucking big deal for us to play the song, even though we might have played it 100 times and might not want to play it on this particular night because maybe we're not super excited about it on paper. The fact is, there, you know, that there's, you know, probably hundreds of people in front of you that do want to hear it, and that reality alone can fuel enough excitement for the song to be good for both you and the audience.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It does. I would imagine that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, like palpable excitement from people who, you know, when any of those songs start and you can feel it, that is its own satisfaction.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. When we're like rehearsing those old, like, quote unquote hits from Apologies to the Queen Mary, you know, because we got to warm them up before we take them on tour. Rehearsing them is sort of like, we will laugh at how somehow we never forget the details of those songs. They're so ingrained in our bodies at this point. But there's also sort of like, okay, let's get this part over with. That doesn't exist on stage at all, because there's like you said, a palpable excitement from the people in front of you, and their energy feeds you, which in turn feeds back out at them. You create this great cycle of energy that that's what live shows are all about, this like two-way transmission.
Yeah.
So it kind of ends up not mattering if you're doing a new song or a super old song. It's really just about engaging with the audience in front of you in a meaningful way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the very short answer is, it's super fun to play old songs in front of people and not super fun to play old songs just for yourself.
That totally makes sense. Well, Spencer, we have reached near the end. I have recently begun doing something I'll probably end up regretting, which is a sort of lightning round of questions.
Oh, I'm gonna be fucking terrible at this.
I don't think you're gonna be alone in that either. But it's only 3, and I think they're very sort of simple.
Okay.
You'll probably be like, that's not simple at all. So first one, what is your least favorite instrument?
Didgeridoo.
Ooh, I was not expecting that. I feel like most people would say like bagpipes or something.
Didgeridoo is like right in line with bagpipes, isn't it? It's basically the Australian bagpipe.
I love bagpipes. Don't get me. I'm gonna stick up for bagpipes. So this second question is because for some reason, I had no idea that you were associated with them ever. What is your favorite Frog Eyes song?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
It's a little hard to be impartial, I guess. Maybe that's an unfair question.
It's not unfair. It's just I know what it is, but I can't remember the title of the song, because Carrie's titles are so bonkers.
They are. It's true.
It's off Bloody Hand.
Okay.
I've got my computer in front of me. Let's just look it up. Let's do this. Bloody Hand, Frog Eyes. It's got a Wikipedia entry and everything.
Sure.
Oh shit. It's nothing's
You're like, it's not on it.
Nothing's ringing a bell.
You can say that's your favorite album of theirs. We can just leave it there.
Oh, Sound Travels from the Snow to the Dark.
Okay. Yes, and that is a very Carrie Mercer title.
Right. Yeah, weird that didn't just stick in my head.
Yeah, of course.
But as soon as I saw it, yeah, we would just call it Sound Travels on stage, and it's super cathartic to play and to listen to. I think it's a great song.
I would imagine at least playing most of their songs are cathartic.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time, but
Yeah.
it was.
Somehow I didn't know you were involved with Raw Guys. I don't know how I didn't know that, but
It was
that
a
makes
long, long time ago. It was only one record.
okay.
Um,
Because it came up in my pre-research for this talk, and I was like, oh, but okay. Um, all right, final question. Who is at least one of your relatively large musical inspirations?
I
Doesn't
hate
have
this
to
question.
it,
I've always hated this question.
we can ignore it. You can
No, I mean, this because there's so many different sides of like. Then you get into like you're talking music or lyrics because those are two totally
Mhm.
different things.
Do you want would it help if I narrow it down to like this newest record of yours?
No, because I don't know.
Let's talk
Um,
let's talk lyrics. We'll stick with lyrics then.
lately, I've really been into. When I say lately, I'm gonna say that's like for the last couple of years.
Okay.
I've been really into a certain sound that I have not quite um, integrated into my own music yet. I think mostly due to a lack of bravery or something, or a lack of know-how. But there's this certain kind of like post-punk kind of talk singing, for lack of a better expression, that I really love. And this isn't about the lyrics themselves; it's entirely about delivery.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Marquis Smith thing from the fall, but there's
Okay.
like more contemporary examples that I've been really into recently. Do you like dry cleaning?
I haven't caught on to them yet. I know I also write for Beats Per Minute and they love them. So yeah, I've heard a lot about them.
You should check it out. The single Scratch Card Lanyard
Okay.
is a great. It's like one of my favorite new songs. Like what it's hardly ever happens to me anymore. Like you hear a song for the first time and like makes you super excited to listen to it again. Like you almost can't wait for it to be over so you can press play again. And that's one of those songs for me. I think they're great. And their singer, she has this beautiful spoken word delivery of lyrics that are, from my understanding, just sort of like cobbled together words that she sort of collects into a notebook, like not necessarily all her own words. She sort of sees words in uh, like advertisements on a bus or things that she overhears people say, as you know, and then meshes that with her own poetry and creates these like beautifully vague yet somehow meaningful, yet playful um, poems,
Hmm.
and then speaks them over really great kind of post punk music. I think it's really rad. I very recently was introduced to Black Country New Road. You know
Oh
that
yeah,
band?
they're another big one.
The drummer for Fading Graffiti, who's the guy that I just went and did these sessions with a few days ago, is like 20 years my junior. Um, he's always showing me new things because, which is great because, especially with the pandemic, I don't really like searching out new music on the internet. Like, of course, I do it, but then that thing where the algorithm tells you what else you'd like, it starts to make me feel kind of sick inside after a while.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
I'm like, I don't want to discover music this way. I want to discover it like with someone, like
Yeah.
more organically. So Eli's just like this wealth of like eager information. I love it. And he's like, you'll like this band, you'll like this band. And, just a few days ago, he was like, why don't you know who Black Country New Road is? You'll love them. And I was like, what do you know? And then he showed me it. And I was like, you're right. I fucking love it. So to answer your question, lyrically, um, I really love that style of delivery. And it's something that that has always resonated with me. Even just like hearing someone read a poem to a live audience, or spoken word, or to some small degree slam poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I've realized
that's an icy slope.
Yeah, I know, and I totally I recognize that's a very slippery slope, and I acknowledge it. But there's a quality there that has always resonated with me,
Mm-hmm.
that I think I've explored a little bit in this past year with my Patreon releases, a little bit in 2019 too, but that song didn't make the record. But truth be told, that's a big influence of mine. The problem is I also love singing. I love the physical act of singing a melody.
Yeah.
So I end up writing these sort of words that would maybe even be better delivered in a spoken word style, and then I sing them out. So then I end up just singing a shit ton of words, which is kind of what I do, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's as good an answer as any. I'm realizing now that was not a simple question.
It totally was.
That was a misnomer.
No. I'm really, really good at overcomplicating things.
That's okay.
It's perhaps my forte. It's what I do best. I'll take a simple thing and I'll fuss it up.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. On that note, I will say thank you very much, Spencer Krug, for talking to me tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time. It was quite a pleasure for me to get to speak with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. Thank you for pronouncing my last name properly.
Yes, it's Krug, not Krug. I'm
just kidding. But in all seriousness, it's been a blast, and thanks for the chat.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. I'll talk to you more on the internet, I imagine, in days to come.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
Have a good rest of your day.
Until then, I'm going to now try to figure out how to turn off Zoom. I'm going to go with this red button that says leave.
Yeah, I'm going to end it for you actually in a moment. And then you just X out.
Anyway, I'm out. 3, 2, 1. Bye. Leave.
All right. See ya.